Hi, I am Dr. Nehr, and I am excited to get to work with you in our English composition course. I wanted to take a moment and share a little of my educational journey with you because I think some of you will resonate with this. And then I also want to give you just a small piece of advice, okay? So, like many people, I went to high school and everything. And after high school, I went to college. I went to college and majored in advertising and public relations, and I went to college because my parents told me I had to go to college. That was my only option. And I didn't like it. I didn't enjoy college my first time around. I didn't enjoy what I was majoring in at all. I quickly learned that advertising and public relations, not a field for joy, not at all. So I dropped out of college. And my parents were like, all right, well, if you're not in college, you can't live at home. You've got to get a job and you're going to live on your own. So I moved out, got a couple jobs actually. Had to have 2 jobs in order to be able to pay rent and eat. The eating part seemed a little important. So then when I was working, I went into the banking industry, and I very quickly saw people getting promoted ahead of me simply because they had a college education. And it didn't matter what their degree was in. And it didn't matter that I was actually better at my job than they were and that I was more qualified and smarter sometimes. They got the promotion because they had the education. All right, well, not being a dummy, I figured out, okay, I've got to get a college education. I decided I would go and major in something that I love, English. And so I moved back home, which was not easy. I'd been living on my own for 3 or 4 years at that point in time. I was pretty independent. So moving back home was a big compromise for me. But it meant that I qualified for some Pell Grants to help pay for college. And I worked 3 jobs because my parents said, we paid for your college the first time you went. We're not paying for it this time. You've got to take care of this yourself. So I worked 3 jobs and 2 work-study jobs at the college and got my bachelor's degree in English literature. Not too many things you can do with a degree in English literature. I did work in a bookstore, wasn't very good at that because the public had some kind of crazy requests. I'm looking for a book. It's this big and it's blue. I just finished organizing all of our books by color and thickness. You're in luck. Yeah, probably not the best attitude to be in retail. So I went into education. And of something I had sworn I was never going to do. I was never going to teach because I saw my dad teach, I saw my mom teach, I saw my grandmother teach, and my uncle, and I was not going to be a teacher. Yeah, 30 years teaching in 2024. So you can see that worked out. It did. I love it. I've never looked back. But so then it took another 10 years or so before I said, I think I'm going to do my master's degree. My husband was in the Air Force. We moved frequently. We'd move to a location. I'd get a year or 2 teaching under my belt so I knew what I was doing and felt secure, and then I would start working on that master's degree, and then we would get orders. And master's credits don't transfer. And at the time, online hadn't been an option until we were stationed in England, and the University of Wisconsin Stout had a program where they gave military people in-state tuition. And it was an online program, so it didn't make any difference where we lived. I could finally get my master's degree. Yay! And so then another 10 years or so later, I decided to work on my doctorate. And I was working on my doctorate, working online full-time. I was working 2 full-time jobs, 3 part-time jobs. So I get it that it can be really hard to do school and adult. Being an adult is not always fun. Many of you have family. You have all kinds of responsibilities and obligations. I want you to know I do get it, and you can do this. You absolutely can do this. If I could do it I did my doctorate. I finished it in November of 2022. I took 5 years instead of the typical 4 years, though, and this is part of my advice for you, okay? So I could have finished my doctorate a lot faster and been a lot more stressed out for the entire 4 years that I was working on it. I wasn't in a hurry necessarily to get my doctorate. I just wanted to have that PhD. It's something I've always wanted. It's a personal goal of mine. But so while I was doing this, the one thing I want to advise you try to maintain a healthy work-life balance. I gave myself, and I still insist on this, every day I give myself an hour to do something that I want to do. It's all about me. It's the joy hour. I can watch trash TV like 90 Day Fiancé or whatever is on HGTV or the Cooking Network. Whatever. It's up to me if I want to read a book. If I'm going to read during that time, I'm going to read something I'm interested in. I'm not going to read something that's for work or school or anything else. I'm going to read it because it's fun and I want to read it. So it's probably fantasy, science fiction related, anything with elves, magic, and dragons. I'm all over it. If you have suggestions, please share. Or if it's just sitting and playing a computer game and doing a puzzle. I like doing jigsaw puzzles. I do them on my computer because I have 2 cats that eat puzzle pieces, and it bugs me when I can't finish a puzzle. I also like hidden objects games, okay? I don't do FSPs or anything like that, or FPSs, whatever it is. But my advice to you is during this time, make sure you give yourself some time to do you, to be you, to have time to do something that you want to do that's all about you. This will make you a better person, a better student, a better employee, a better spouse, a better partner, because it gives you that time to de-stress and just be in the moment and be yourself. So please do know this is going to be tough. Getting your education, especially when you're adulting, not easy. You can do this. If I can do this, you can totally do this. And make sure, though, that you remember to give time for you to be you. And I know I've said this in my post. Please don't hesitate to reach out to me. I'm here for you. I really want to help you. I want to hear from you. Pop by my virtual office, call, text me, email me, whatever. I'm here for you for the struggles. I'm here for you for the successes as well. All right, I'll see you soon. Bye.